Hello, all you monster kids, you fiends of yesteryear. It's Dave the Crazed Collector here. Amidst the werewolf woods I walk, I find some things and then I'll talk. So, I was looking in one of the many, many boxes, and my father was the archivist, you might say, because I was just a little kid and he put together all my monster models, and I found an entire box of Aurora Monster Model instructions. So, here's the Wolfman. Now, for those of you who didn't know, Aurora was this amazing company that made like ships and boats and cars and that kind of stuff. And then they got into the monster model stuff. And this was how you built a monster model. And I was watching my father. It all came apart, and then with airplane glue, he would glue it together, and then he would paint it. Well, my father would paint it. I'll show you someday the ones that I painted. You'll go, oh my God, good thing your father was a better artist than you. And what's really great, maybe someday I'll read these to you, is sometimes on the back there was a little biography of the monster. Oh my God, to a little like kindergarten kid, this was like gold. So there's the Wolfman instructions. Oh my goodness, in the same box, the James Bond instructions. That was another Aurora model that came out with Odd Job. So this is the ephemera, which means the lost, forgotten, thrown away, the detritus and debris that most people said, throw that in the garbage. And then Aurora had a line of superhero models. There's Superman. Superman, you see all that? I mean, that's like how people put models together back in the day. And you could just get them at the drugstore. They were like $1 a piece, actually less than $1. Here's another model I never see much play for, the Roman gladiator. And there's a whole history lesson back here on the gladiators of Rome. This one has not yet ever been in an exhibition of ours because I can't quite figure out, he's not a monster hero or a villain, and we really don't have an ancient history exhibit yet. And then this was the customizing kit, and I just love this. This was the second customizing kit called Mad Dog and the Vicious Vulture and the Mad Dog. And so what you do is you or your father could buy these kits, and there were extra cool pieces that then you could put on your Aurora model and like trick it out in its own personalized way. It was really cool. Now, you've seen in other videos from us that they had the coolest boxes. Aurora Monster Models had art by James Bama, and you couldn't go wrong. Oh wait, here's the Hulk. There was a line of Marvel models as well. And of course, there's no backstory on the Hulk. I guess they assumed I knew who he was. And then here's, I think, the first model that came out from Aurora was the Frankenstein monster. And so there's the putting it together. And then there's what he looks like. And then they even tell you what green or what color you should have. Like there's black for the hair and gray for the sort of undershirt, and then green for the skin. And then, and that was pretty darn cool. And on the back, there's another picture of the model. And I will love to show you some more of these models sometime. But here's one I think that sort of Aurora overstepped their parental boundaries. They came out with a model of the Guillotine, which was an actual working guillotine with a guy that you strapped down, lowered the blade, and it cut his head off. How cool was that? Oh my God. And there's how you built it. Again, I didn't build many. In fact, I don't know if I built any of my models because my fingers were like giant Fred Flintstone fingers, and I didn't have the fine motor skills. But my father was patient, meticulous, and he loved to help me out. So there's the guillotine. You put the guy on the gurney right there, and then you lower that blade, and it chops his head off, and it goes in the basket. Oh my goodness. And I've got all sorts of other stuff in here if you want to see other instructions. But here's one I just had to take out because this was the Lindberg models. Now, the Lindberg line of models, there's only 4 monsters. And what was great was that it was only 2 pieces. It was a front and a back and some hair. And they go out in the exhibit, and they're quite rare and exciting. And I like them because they're outlier models. Who are they? I don't know. Now, one thing I might do one of these days, there's my King Kong model. Instructions, and on the back there's a whole King Kong biography. And what I might have to do is read it to you sometime, because I actually did 2nd grade reports with these as the source material. Back when I was in 2nd grade, I said, I'm doing a report on King Kong, and this is the only information you had back then. So you'd read this, and then you'd report it to the class. And some of it is not quite true. Once you've seen the movie, you go, wait, that's not the way it happened. Like right away here it goes, the helicopters. Right, wait, there was no helicopters in that movie. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. This is about nostalgia and legacy and keeping the ephemera and the lost and the forgotten. We want to give glory. We want to give a sense of wow to the stuff we remember as kids. And if you weren't a kid back then, hopefully you're still going, wow, I never knew this stuff existed. This is kind of a long, rambling, wandering video inside my skull, but that's the way my skull is. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you're having a great day, and may you have monstrous fun nightmares and dreams, and enjoy all the things that you can create. See you later. Bye-bye.